A good voch, Rabboisai. From Gershon Rose. This is beautiful, Rabboisai. Listen to this. Check this out on the screen. You'll see the idea. Oh, I'm not in full screen. That's why. But okay, now I am. The idea of Kabbalah's HaTorah was made so much easier with your idea to do Chazara on Shavuos. And he has here, I don't know if you could see, but there's a certain Kabbalah, I don't know who put it out. You do like 20 hours over Shavuos, Ritzufas, not to talk, an hour after the Suda, before Shacharis, an hour before Mincha, 2 hours. The kids are beautiful. Chaim, the anonymous guy from Lakewood, also told me that he's going to be doing 10 daf Chazara, Be'ez Hashem. So, if you did Chazara and you listen to the Eitzah, send me an email. I want to talk about it. Here, if you this volume over here, this is running around. I got this from 20 different people. I had the guy's name, Chaval. Maybe look it up. It's in the email from the Lock guy. Okay, anyway, check this out. Here, I want you to pay attention what the woman says. She goes, "What are you reading?" Like something like that. Like this is the first time she's ever seen Daf Yomi. It seems like. Hold on.
What are you reading? This guy, huh? This guy comes along with us on every trip.
Okay, if you didn't hear, she says, "This guy," meaning me, comes along with us on every trip. You heard? Again, Nachamal.
What are you reading? This guy, huh? This guy comes along with us on every trip.
Okay, you see? They didn't hear. And finally, from Rafael Groskopf, he says, "Good afternoon. Just want to thank everyone on the NDY team for making things work and enabling us chutzniks to learn the daf. Besides keeping up with the Daf Yomi first time ever, I still pinch myself to ensure that I'm not dreaming and making my own siyum. B'chayr, Erev Pesach, Masechet Shkolim, got me doing Daf Yomi, Yerushalmi, and I'll be celebrating Yom Tov with a siyum on Baba Kam and Baba Basra by learning my mizdapim. Thank you, Rebelli. Thank you, Yosef. Thank you, Eli. I don't know who Eli is. I guess somebody else. Thanks to all the look after the Zoom. He's going to get back on soon, he says. And thanks to all the others that work behind the scenes. I don't know all their names. A big shkoyach, a good Shabbos, and a great Yom Tov. Rifael. And unbelievable, everybody say, great news. Only 3 sponsors today. First of all, the Kollel sponsors, that's a separate sponsor. Hatzlacha, Kol Mishpachas NDY. By Ahron Fraiman, Lzchus, continue parnasah, siyadta, dishmaya. Gershon, just turn it down a little bit. We don't need there's nobody here. Siyadta, dishmaya, and hatzlacha to rebelli. And by the Lock and Lebovic families, Lakewood NJ, because Torah is the best segulah. Li'ilu nishmas chaya bas Yosef. So what's going to happen right now is, Rabbi, we're going to do Daf Tzadik. We are on Daf Tzadik. There's no Sfirus Homer today. We're going to do Daf Tzadik. As soon as we're done with Daf Tzadik, at about 11:30, we should be done. And 11:30, I'm going to be redoing Daf Pei Test, which is really a daf and a half, and it's going to take a good hour. So if you haven't heard it, you could stick around. If not, it's just going to be me and Gary and maybe Rabbi Schoenberg. It might be past his bedtime. I don't know if he'll show up. So here we are in the middle of an unbelievable sugi, Daf Tzadik. The question is, do Chachamim have the ability to be Oiker Dov Min HaTorah? Shalom Aleichem. Shkoyach from coming. Chizuk. Shapsi Cohen from Beitar. So, Oiker Dov Min HaTorah, could they say, the Torah says X, we decided it's not the right thing today in our generation, we're going to be Oiker it. Toshma. Ochal Truma Tmeah. If a person, by mistake, a Yisrael, who has nothing to do with Truma, he shouldn't be eating Truma at all, and he's eating Truma that's Tameh. Truma that's Tameh is also for everybody to eat, even a Kohen. He's not allowed to eat Truma Tmeah. And he eats Truma Tmeah. Now, the Pasuk says, V'ishki yoichal kodesh bishgoga, v'yosav chamishasa yala. So if you eat the Truma by mistake, like happened right over here, you should pay it back, plus a choimish, 25%, v'nosan l'koyen es ha-kodesh. Yeah. Bevakashat arbitz mihirut. Okay. Oh no, that's not part of the pasuk. Okay. That just came on the screen by mistake. Chabubi, there's no mihirut. 11:30 is in shir. B'mihirut will be in the 11:31. Wow, there's going to be so much fun with him. 11:30. We're stuck. We go slow until 11:30. 11:30, narbitz mihirut. Okay, ishkoyach. Thank you. Somebody deal with this guy. Could somebody take over? Where's Tomer? How you doing, Uncle Phil? Why don't you come over here? I need to sit and embarrass you right over here. No? back seat. Everybody's steering him, please. Give him a hard time. So it says in the pasuk that you have to pay a chaymesh. What do you do? Mishalem chulin tahirim. So here's the picture again. We're doing. Good job. It
won't be there in the edit.
Oh, look at him. It's unbelievable. Fine. So over here you have truma tmeya and chulin tmeyim. It's two baskets. They both have rats, and everything is tameh. If a guy ate from the truma that's tameh, so he pays from chulin that's tahar, not in this picture. Tahar. Shilem chulin tmeyim. But what if he went ahead and he paid off from chulin that's tameh, not truma that's tameh? Chulin means anybody could eat it. A Yisrael could eat it. A Kain could eat it. Anybody. If he did it by mistake, he didn't realize that it's tamei. But if he did it on purpose, and this is going to be our question. First, we have to fix it up a little bit, but the question is from this line: how do Chachamim say that if he did it on purpose, it's nothing? Minat Torah, you could. The Gemara is going to explain. I don't even have to explain, but the Minat Torah, no matter what, it's a good truma. So how do Chachamim say no? It's not a good truma. That's Oiker Dav Minat Torah. First, we're going to have to fix it up a little bit. It doesn't matter if he did it on purpose, he did it by mistake. He paid back what he was supposed to pay. The Torah said to pay, he paid. What he needs to do is pay chulin. Now, just pay attention. It's important to realize that when he pays the chulin tahirim, it doesn't become truma. It remains chulin. It's a penalty, it's a knas. He pays from the bottom pile, from the chulin tmeim, and it remains chulin tmeim, and that's it. It's just a knas. Okay. Now, we ask the question, why is it if he on purpose gave chulin that's tamei, it's no good? We should bench him. It's a great thing what he did. Why? The top pile, truma that's tamei, is basically worthless. No one in the world could eat it. Even a kohen is not allowed to eat it. If a kohen eats it, either it's an asay, or if it's tamei, he gets misa. A kohen. So he can't eat it. What could he do with it? He can use it as fuel. No. What are you gonna? Who uses grapes as fuel? The kids here, it's worthless. What?
Feed his animals.
No.
You see the price of gas? Use anything.
Truma Tmeim, nothing. But Chulin Tmeim, that's valuable. Why? Because now if the Kohen is Tamei, he could eat Chulin Tmeim. He could eat it normally. He's Tamei, so he's going to eat Chulin Tmeim. So the guy did him a great service. Why are you penalizing him? Why are you saying it's not Truma? So we have to fix it up a little bit. He paid back something that's valuable. Either Rava said it or it's just anonymous. You're right, we have to stick something in. If he ate truma that's tamei, he pays back with tamei stuff. But if he ate regular truma, mishalim chulin tahirim, he should pay back from chulin tahir. What happens if shilim chulin tmeim? He took tahar and he paid back something that's not as valuable. Tamei. So we're fixing it up a little bit. If he did it by mistake, great. Why? We learned yesterday at 1 o'clock in the morning, the Olam was not 100% there, but we're here. We learned that it doesn't matter what you pay. When it comes to Truma, you pay on the raw, you take bad, and you pay good, it works. You can take Tamei on tar, it works. It works. It's not great, but it works. Okay? So it works. And Chachamim say that it doesn't matter if he did it on purpose, he paid it off, even though he gave Tamei. And then he has to give a little bit of a knas and he pays from the chulin. Ask the Gemara, but here's the point. Finally, we get to the point. Voch, it's a great payment when you pay with tamei chulin. The bottom pile is a good payment midiraisa. And the Gemara says more. What if the kohen took that chulin that's tamei and gave it to a woman as kiddushin? The truma tamei. Tafsel kiddushin. It's good kiddushin. And when Chacham come along and they say that it's no good, what they're doing is they're saying that this woman who received kiddushin, it's not a good kiddushin, and then she's going to go marry another guy, and that's Eishes Ish. So what do we do? Says the Gemara, so anyway, so we have a good question on Oikedav Minatayr. So the Gemara says, no, what Remeir meant to say is the boil mehed shalom chulin tayrin. He has to pay afterwards good chulin. New. What's the problem with that? Unbelievable. We're getting ISIS today. Oh, it's for yesterday? Wow. Chaval, I can't get one. So, no, that's okay. But you hear the problem here. We're basically saying that Remeir is saying the identical thing as the other Shita. There's no machlokes now. Remeir, the boil mehed, the shalom chulin tahirin. Yahachi sumchas hayin rabbanan. Remeir and Rabbanan are saying the same thing. Sumchas, who explains Remeir, is saying the same thing as Rabbanan. There is one difference. That what? What if a guy did it by accident? If he did it by accident, maybe I should say, listen to this chap. If a guy did it by accident, I should say that it's not a good payment. Why? Because if he does it on purpose, he's going to lie and he said he did it by accident. So you know what? We should just make one rule. No matter what, if you use this truma that's tamei, even if you did it by accident, it's no good. That's what Chachamim say. And Remeir argues. So on that nekuda, there's an argument. Otherwise, they say the same thing. Tashma. Okay, again, what are we trying to prove, rabbis? Are we trying to prove whether or not if Chachamim have the ability to be oiker dovim and Torah? Do they have the right to say? I was just thinking, as I'm learning, I don't want to get into it because it bothered me a lot. And if you know what I'm talking about, great. If not, not. But there was a big fight a couple weeks ago. From people were beating up other from people. And it's mamash chil Hashem and everything. I don't want to get into it, but maybe they were thinking like, oh, the Chachamim have the right to be oiker. You're allowed to beat people up because we made a new... But that's what it falls into, these kind of things. Do Chachamim have the right to be oiker? We're going to see, actually. Mamash like that. The Chachamim have the right to beat people up. They do have the right, even to kill. They could take somebody and kill him if he's over and he's and they feel that things are getting out of hand. That's what we're going to see soon. So here's the case. Dam shenitma uzrakoy. So here's, in case you haven't been with us a long time, you don't know what Zrika is. Zrika is one of the 4 avodas that we learned very, very heavily in Yuma. You have to do shchita and then Kabbalah. These are all essential avodas. And then finally, you walk, you do hatzlacha, and then you take that. That's a picture of the Kohen Gadol. It doesn't have to be Dafka Kohen Gadol. That particular picture is the Kohen Gadol. They take it in a gold vessel and they spray it on the Mizbeach wall. Zrika. If the blood is tamei, you don't do zrika. Dam sheni do zraka. But what if he did it already? B'shoigeg hurtza. If he did it by mistake, there's a ritzu. In other words, the person who brought the carbon, you bring a carbon chatas, the kohen has to take the blood and spill it on the mizbeach. If he did it by mistake, then the guy that brought the carbon chatas, let's say he, I don't know what, he killed an animal on Shabbat, whatever, by mistake, he has to bring a carbon chatas for a chil Shabbos. He has tshuva through this carbon. But if the kohen knew that it was tamei blood, the blood was touched by a rat, and he did it anyway, the guy doesn't get a kapara. Ask the Gemara, what are you talking about? Again, here's a great raya. Well, how do Chacham have the right to say this guy doesn't have a good kapara? Well, what is the big problem? Let's say they say, okay, they're going to be machmar on him. What's the big deal if they're machmer on him? You know what? Bring another carbon. You know what the problem is? It's Issa Daraisa to bring another carbon. Why? Huh? Chulin ba'azara. The second carbon is not a real carbon. If he had a kapara from the first one, and Chacham say, be machmer, go the extra mile and bring another carbon, that's the Issa Daraisa of bring just a regular animal, right, Benny? You can't shecht any animal in the Beis HaMikdash unless it's for a carbon. Over here, you see Chacham didn't care. They were oiker this Issa Midaraisa. Why is it a good carbon? The Sanya Amad tzitz meratza. Here's the tzitz. The kohen wears this on his head, and this has special powers. This tzitz that he wears on his forehead, it has the ability to make things that are tameh, not tar, but even though it's tameh, it goes through. We let it through. What does it do? Al adam v'al basar, on the blood and on the meat, v'al chelev, on the fat, shenitma, they became tameh. Bein b'shogi, bein b'mezid. Even if it happened b'mezid, bein b'ratzayin, ma? Bein b'ratzayin. Someone needs to take over. It's getting dangerous. It's Matzish. Look at him. So, what happened? I can tell you afterwards exactly what happened. Chacham say he doesn't have a kapara. Oh, so what's the problem? The Gemara fears is what's going to happen because of their chumrah? It's actually an issa deraisa. He's bringing chul nazar. And Chachamim have the ability, you see. So what if it's Chul Nazar? I want you to bring Chul Nazar. So you see, l'chayra, that Chachamim have the ability to uproot a Issa Deraisa. Or Rabbi Bar Chanina, my lo to the Ka'amar. Not pshat that they have to bring another carbon. That's not the pshat. No, the first carbon is good. And we Chachamim are telling you, since he did it on purpose, he doesn't get a kapara. Not that he has to bring another carbon. He is not allowed to eat the meat. Nobody's allowed to eat the meat. It's punishment. The meat is going to go to waste. The kohanim, they get gewaldige meat, all these steaks for free. Nobody's touching it. But the guy is not going to bring another carbon, because if he brings another carbon, that's Issa Deraisa. What about the meat? To say not to eat the meat, is that an Issa Deraisa? Don't eat the meat. Well, the Torah says you should eat the meat. So not eating the meat, what is that called? Shev al taisa. They said don't do it. They didn't say go proactively and do an issur. They just said stop eating. Okay, so the Gemara goes through that. Aval balim niskaper boy, the original owner who brought the carbon chatas does achieve a kapara through the first carbon that he brought. Everything is good, no problem. Says the Gemara, Rav Chisda asked the question. But at the end of the day, you see, kamasatra achilas basar. I'll prove to you, says Rav Chisda, that there is an akira, there is an uprooting of the mitzvah to eat all the meat. Chacham said, don't eat it. It says in the pasuk, they should eat the meat. The koyanim eat the meat, and the owner that brought the carbon gets a kapara. Amalei shave valtasa shani. So Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina answers. That's who it is here. I saw in one of those pirushim, I think the Mesifta says it a little wrong. He says Rav Chisda says, because on Amud Beis, we're going to get to in a second, it's Rav Chisda talking to, Rabba and Rav Chisda. So the Mesifta says it's Rabba and Rav Chisda. But I think they made a little bit of, what does Arshus say? Rabbi Yosef Chanina, right? Because it is Rabbi Yosef Chanina. If you look through the sugi, it's Rabbi Yosef Chanina. So again, Chacham have the ability to say, don't do anything. Don't eat. I don't want you to eat. He's not over. But to say, in our case, to say that the truma that's tameh is not tameh, that's an akira. That's to uproot. That's to say that the whole pile of grapes is edible to kayin, to anybody, and ignoring the fact that those grapes are real tameh, that's uprooting an issa deraisa. So don't bring a proof from this to us. Daf Tzadik Amud Beis, sponsored by Moshe Horn, Gewaldige Yid, in honor of Hillel Zand, and also sponsored anonymously in honor of Eli for the councils, whatever. What? Because the guy, I guess, wasn't happy with how we retracted it. Okay. Omar Le. Over here, Rashi says it's Rav Chizda says to Rabba. Omar Le. Bailoi Suvoch Gevaldik. So now it's great. Now we're going to go through a bunch of sugyas in one line. I wanted to ask you a bunch of questions. Your one answer of Sheval Taisa answers everything. What did I want to ask you? Oral. Here. Oral means that a guy doesn't have tumas meis, right? If a guy touches a dead person, he doesn't have tumas meis. So what happens is, this guy became a ger Erev Pesach. Is he allowed to bring a carbon Pesach? Why not? He's a ger, he went to the mikvah, he got a bris milah, he has zero tumah, because when he was a guy, there's no tumah today. So if you look over here, Rashi brings this, haparish mina arla, if a guy, his arla is cut off, keparish mina kever. It's as if he just came out of a grave. He has all the tumah in the world. He's mamish aviyah vaysa tumah. Why? Because we were concerned that this ger is going to make a cheshbon in his head. He said, listen, last year I became Jewish. I went to 16 funerals the week that I became Jewish. And Chacham said I can bring a Karban Pesach. There's no such thing as being as Tameh. He doesn't realize it's because he was a guy. So the following year, he's going to bring a Karban Pesach when he's Tameh. So we said, you know what? Every guy that becomes Jewish, he has to go through the whole process of becoming Tahar, Hazah, sprinkle here. I have this for the next Gemara, Lo Mishaneh. He takes the water from the carbon, from the paraduma, the mixture with the ashes and the water, he dips in the hyssop, not the hyssop, the hyssop, and he goes like this, sprinkles, and the ger has to go through the whole process. Says the Gemara, so if we stop here, Chacham said, no, he doesn't bring a Karban Pesach. No, they were oiker, a davar min Torah. They told the guy, don't bring a mitzvah deraisa. If you don't bring a Karban Pesach, you know what happens to you? Karas. They're telling the guy, he just became Jewish today, he's already chayiv karas. Hazah. There is no sprinkling a tameh on Shabbos. If it's seventh day, the third day, when you have the sprinkling, comes out on the Shabbos, you don't do it. No, this Nebuch guy, a regular Jew, not a guy, Jew, he's supposed to go through the process of Tahara, and he can't. You know why? He can't bring a Karban Pesach because the day that he was supposed to bring it was on Shabbos, and Chachamim said, don't sprinkle on Shabbos. Not the Torah, Chachamim. So because of Chachamim's Gzeira, he's not going to bring a Karban Pesach. No, how do they have the ability to do it? What's the answer? Says Rav Chizda to Rabba. I had the question, but now the answer is Pashat. Sheval Taisa. Chacham didn't say, bring a carbon that's asur. They said, don't bring a Karban Pesach. Sit back at home. That I have the ability to do. Next, Vizmel. The knife, everybody knows it's halacha. Machloikis, could you make a knife on Shabbos for bris milah? According to the shita that says you're not allowed to bring a knife from one rishus to the other, like you're not allowed to carry, but it's l'tzarech the bris milah. You're allowed to do a lot of averis in the bris. No, not the zemel. So here you have a kid who's not going to have a bris milah on Shabbos, pushing off a mitzvah deraisa. Huh? Well, only if you die like that, not if you don't do it that day, you know. Chayiv cars immediately. If a guy pushes over Brisbane one day, I don't think you're chayiv cars. Who's chayiv cars? The father? Not chayiv cars. This kid is chayiv cars when he becomes this. It's a different sugya. I don't think you chayiv cars that one day. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. Sodim b'tzitzis. This is incredible. I don't know if we knew this halacha. It's kedai to be here just for this. Chachamim said, here, in case you don't know what tchelis looks like, I'm not going to pull out my tzitzis now. This is real tchelis. This is blue tzemer. Now, to put this in a beged of flax is shatnez. So Chacham said, don't ever put this, even though midaraisa, there's no shatnez with tzitzis. You're allowed to mix this wool with flax. There's no shatnez. But Chacham said, don't do it. Why? Because what if you wear it at night? In at night, you don't have the chiyuv. So at night, you're going to be over in shatnez. The mitzvah of tzitzis doesn't push off the aveira of shatnez at night. So anytime you have pishtan, don't wear tchelas. So what happens? You're allowed to wear pishtan in the street without tzitzis. They're pushing off. They're being oiker a mitzvah d'oraisa. So, or chiyuv without tzitzis. Without tzitzis. What? You can wear the beged, yeah. Oh, so Hillel is asking a very good question. Hillel is asking that at the end of the day, it's kumbasei because he's wearing a beged without tzitzis. So that's Taisa's question. And Taisa says a big chiddush here. Taisa says that the mitzvah is when you wear it, when you put it on, the ituf. When you put it, that's when you have to. So at that time, you are an oiver, and what happens afterwards is not enough. You're not chayv to have tzitzis. Then you have to have tzitzis when you put it on your head, when you cover yourself. The first time you say the bracha, but as you're walking in the street, you don't have the chiyuv. He says very interesting stuff. Ayin and Taisus. And Rabbi Isai, you're not going to believe it. The kifsei atzeres shvuos in America today is mamish shvuos. This is the daf of shvuos, and here we have once again a siyadta dishmaya that we're talking about shvuos. On Shavuos. Doesn't happen every day. We don't always talk about Shavuos. And it's what? Yevamos, yeah. Okay. Megillus rules. He said it's also today we said Rusvas Mordechai. Givaldik. I gotta tell you real quickly, because we have plenty of time until 11:30. I want to tell you, Stam, a very quick vart that I saw. Who sent it to me? I think Dov Harris sent it to me. Yeah, Dov Harris sent it to me from Rabbi Yisachar friend. Beautiful. It's a long vart, but it's right up my alley. I've said this kind of thing a bunch of times, and I liked it a lot. And very, very short. I'll say Bekitz and Nimrod. It's a long vart. I'll say Bekitz and Nimrod. He says, what is the difference between Rus and Arpa? Two sisters. So the Arpa looked at Yiddishkeit and she said, wow, it's so hard. You have to eat Chol Yisrael, some of us. You can't work on Shabbos. Chodosh. I mean, exactly, Chodosh and the thing. Yibum, this, that. It's so hard. And Rus said, yeah, but at the end of the day, you gain, even in Olam Hazeh, you're a better person, you achieve so much more, and you reach certain things. And he brought, I didn't say it, that's why he brings Michael Phelps as he says, I don't want to say it, but I got to say it. He says, Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympian, the guy that won the most gold medals ever. He spent more time in the swimming pool than most of us spend in the Beis Medrash a day. 14 hours a day in the swimming pool. So you'd say, wow, it's so hard. But then afterwards, I mean, I guess he doesn't know what's happening to him today. He's a shtickle meshuggah today. But anyway, I mean, he's depressed, the whole thing, because, he has nothing left in his life. He achieved everything when he's 25 in Shalom Yisrael. But that extreme avodah that he put in, the crazy hours, getting up at 3 a.m. and working out and going, all these super athletes, right? At the end of the day, they say, look what I have, look what I achieved, all these gold medals, all this fame, all this fortune, blah, 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 blah. Same thing with the Yiddishkeit. Rus said the same thing. I'm going to go work hard, I'm going to do, Yiddishkeit, but at the end of the day, look what I'm going to have, even in Olam Hazeh, and look what she achieved. David and look at Arpa. Okay, she took it easy and she went over there. The idea of working hard and achieving a lot, I thought it was beautiful, Zach. Okay. You got to put the time in to get payers. The kifsei atzeres. So what's going on here? So Rashi's interesting because look, Kibaltimi Rabbi says Rashi. I never heard pshat on this. I don't know exactly, but I think the pshat is, and he says a very interesting pshat. He says that if on Shavuos he's supposed to bring 2 sheep, kifsei the sheep of atzeres. Gemara always talks about it together with breads. What happens if he did it shaloi l'shma? What does loy l'shma mean when it comes to carbon? Instead of thinking in his mind that it's shalom aleichem, instead of thinking in his mind that it's for Shavuos, he said, okay, I'm bringing these animals as a oila. Stam. He messed up the intent. That's loy l'shma. So what do? You don't sprinkle the blood. He had the wrong intent. It's the wrong carbon. He messed up the kind. Says Rashi, he was over, Chacham say, by not sprinkling the blood, you're over on 3 things. First of all, you're not doing the mitzvah of Zrikas Adam. Second of all, you're not putting the imurim on the mizbeach. And third of all, you're not eating the meat. These are 3 things that I'm telling you not to do. 3 mitzvahs. And what's the answer going to be? Shev al taisa. They didn't say do something. They said don't eat it. Don't sprinkle. Don't put the imurim on the mizbeach. Now, this is famous. This needs no explanation. Shofar velulav. These two mitzvahs that we don't do on Shabbos because maybe you're going to try to learn how to blow a shofar or shake a lulav and you're going to walk and just around 4 amas. They were oiker davim in Torah. They said, we do this every year. We don't shake a lulav when it's a deraisa, the first day of Sukkot. We don't shake the lulav on Shabbos. Hashtag the shanisala and sheval taiso. But now that you explained to me this idea of sheval taiso, just sit back and don't do anything. Lo me'akru, that's not considered uprooting. They just told you, chill, relax, don't do the mitzvah. Kulunami, all these things. R Eli Zemel, Salim Mitzitzis, Kivsi Atzer, Shevelulav, Sheval Taisaninu. Toshma. Okay, still trying to prove the idea. Do Chachamim have the ability? And by the way, all the way at the end of the sugya, we have no proofs. Nothing. And it comes out, halacha, Chacham don't have the ability to uproot something midaraisa. They don't. So, but we're still trying to prove it. Toshma. Huh? Spoiler. No, it doesn't say it in the Gemara. I'm just telling you now, so I don't want to forget. Elav tishmon. There's a mitzvah to listen to a navi emes. If the navi tells you, do something against the Torah, listen to him. Kigoyin, what's a good example? Eliyahu Bahar Carmel. Eliyahu in Har Carmel, he tried to stop the Avodah Zarah and he told Klal Yisrael to bring korbanos outside of the Beis Hamikdash, and it was already a time that was usher to bring a carbon on a bama. You listen to him. Hakol lefi shah, based on the time and the situation, shema lo, you listen to him. So you see, oiker davim men Torah. Shani hazin d'chsiv elav tishmon. It's a special thing. Listen to the Navi. Says Gemara v'ligmar minei. But at the end of the day, there's nothing new. There's no new nevius. There's no elamai. He's coming b'tzad chachma. Okay, so then listen to every chacham. Why is he different? Why is a Navi different than a chacham? Migdar milsa shani. When you're trying to institute something, there's a big problem in Klal Yisrael. They're all worshiping the Baal. And I want to stop it, so now I'm going to tell you, do something against the Torah. But not stop. Not stop. Truma every time. Why should I make truma that's tameh? Why should I make it tar? It's not like a what? It's not a rasha. It's not something going on now in Klal Yisrael. People are being mevazet truma. This guy, this Meshugana did something, so that's why Chacham should be oigedam in a Torah. No right. Toshma. Bitla mevuto. We're talking about a husband who's giving a get. So midoraisa, if somebody gives, by the way, the guy came over to me after shir. He told me that I made a mistake. It's not $4,000 a ksuba today. It's 8,000 shekel. So what is that? That's like less than $3,000, $2,500. What? No, you should have seen if you weren't here. But as soon as they said $4,000, a bunch of them, wow, it's not bad at all. It's like, wow, okay, I'm in. Shafsi has to worry. Yeah, he has other issues to worry about. He's not going to get married so easily. His wife, no, it's great to marry, you know? You have like a shtickle guarantee. The Kohanim shouldn't have to give a ksuba anyway. They're locked. Shani Asin the okay. So Midaraisa goes like this. A husband sends a shliach to give his wife a get. So let's say he lives in Eretz Yisrael, and it takes a month to get to Bavel. He says, go to Bavel, give a get. A month later he decides, or 29 days later, he decides he doesn't want to divorce. He doesn't want to divorce her. So he goes to Bezdin, and he says, I don't want to divorce my wife. So Midaraisa is batal. They never delivered the get, so he's the right to be in battle. What's going to happen? There's no cell phones. She doesn't know. She gets the get. She gets married the next day. Eshesish, mamzerim, the whole thing. Comes.
You have to wait 3 months.
Yeah, whatever. It takes 3 months until this, until that, until the message gets through. It's already too late. She didn't wait 3 months, so whatever. Bitla mevuto. Midaraisa mevuto the Rebbe. Rebbe Shimon Gamliel lo yimer eni yachol levat levat noy. Says Rebbe Shimon Gamliel, no way. This is a big problem. Imkei my koyach bezin yafa. Says the Gemara of Ahacha the Midaraisa batal get. But Midaraisa has all the right in the world to go to the Bezdin and say the get is not a get. And because to show that Bezdin has the power to do it, so that's why you're going to allow this woman to be a Eishesish. The get is not a good get. Midaraisa is not a good get. And she goes ahead and she's going to get married to somebody. Says the Gemara, the famous concept, man mekadesh adai to the Rabbana mekadesh. Says Rashi, when you give the ring to the woman, you say, Aret mekadesh li kedas Moshe Yisrael, with the intent, whatever Chacham had in mind. And Chacham are going to go retroactive, and they're going to take your kedushin that you did back in that hall in 1990 whatever, and they're going to say, garnished. That ring is nothing. You're mekadesh with our mind, and we're undoing the kedushin of Afrei. You were never married. Vapkin rabbanon the kedushin, and they uproot the kedushin of Afrei. That's great. The kodesh b'kaspa. That's if you did it with money. So Chachamim have the ability to undo the money and say the money was ours. You never even gave her a ring. Kodesh b'biyah, what could they undo with that? Says the Gemara, Shavir rabbanon libilasai bilaz nus. Instead of it being a biyah of kiddushin with a das to be kaina, they went in there and they said the biyah is nus. He was never mekadesher. Toshma. Or Yaakov Shamati, Rabbi Shomer, you know that it's 11. We're starting at 11:30. Shtickle. You knew about that? Wow. You ready? You ready to go with?
He wanted to get his seat. He didn't want to make
Toshma is unbelievable. I can't believe you came. What a chizuk. It's going to be me and you, Chavrusa. Omer Yaakov Shamati shebezdin makim va'inshim shleiman atayra. This is amazing. Bezdin have the right to take a guy and give him givaldik a patch. Or Einshe means Misa, kill him. Even though it's not in the Torah, and it's Ritzicha. Not to be over and do Ritzicha, elas is siyagla Torah. To make a fence around the Torah. And Umaisa Ba'adam, there's a story, Givaldik Umaisa. Ba'adam echad shoroch al sus b'shabos b'mei Yevanim. A guy was riding a horse. And to ride a horse is only Isser de Rabbanan, it's a Shvus. In the time of the Greeks. And then who knows what was going on there? There's a big shvachkeit in Yiddishkeit. They viewed the Bezdin, and they brought him to Bezdin Uskulu. They gave him Misa, even though he didn't deserve Misa. He was only over the Rabbana. Not because he deserved it. El Shashat Tzrich Lekach. Hayra Shah. Vishuv Ma'isa B'Adam Echad. There was a person. Shetiach Be'ishtoi Tachas Ateina. He had relations with his wife in the park, in front of everybody. They viewed the Bezdin Vilku. People were starting to be more relaxed when it came to Arayas. And they had to put their foot down. They didn't kill him, but they gave him Malchus. A guy that does that, there's no Isser to do that, but it's prost. It's a lack of tznius. Not every generation. In that generation, because Chacham saw that what's going on, people are going crazy, so they had to put a stop to it. Says the Gemara, Migdar Milsa Shani. Once again, if it's there at a special time to Rosh Shah, and it's necessary for the generation, then they have the right to institute Malchus and Misa, whatever is necessary. Reminds me now, it's something in your life, lahavdil billion of dollars, when the ISIS were Meshuggah, they were trying to make Durham. They'll just take a person in the middle of the street, you didn't say this and this, boom. Remember this time? Chopping heads, mamish fear. The oil was fearful. Okay, fine. So we said this woman who got married, Beidechad, her husband left town, and one witness came and said that he saw that the husband is dead. So she remarried another husband. The first guy shows up. So one of the 16 things that they instituted is that neither of the husbands becomes tamei to her if they are kayhanim. Zog the Gemara, where do we see this? There's two psukim. The pasuk says a kayin could become tamei to one of the 7 krivim. V'amamar she'eroi zu ishtoi. She'eroi means his wife. But then it says he shouldn't. The husband should not become tamei to become a chalal. It's going to ruin him. His kahuna. Says the Gemara, Yesh Baal Shemetama, Yesh Baal Shemetama. There's a husband that becomes tamei and a husband that cannot become tamei. Ketzad has a work. Metamo l'ishdei kshera, ve'en metamo l'ishdei psula. A husband could be metama to his normal wife, but if she's a puzzle wife, she got married to a second guy, then he cannot become tamei to her. Neither husband 1 and husband 2, could be zoich in a mitzvah. So over here, this is already good for her. This is finally something. Some of the 16 things are actually in her benefit. That what she finds a diamond ring. It's worth $20,000. The husband can't take it. Why? What's the whole reason that typically a husband takes her mitzvah? The husband is telling her, listen, I give you this, I give you mizaynis, I support you. Now what? You're going to find something, you're going to take it for yourself? I want it. So there shouldn't be any fighting. We want them to fight. The more they fight, the better it is. He'll release her. And they don't get her earnings, her salary. Why does typically the husband get her salary? It's in return, she's being supported by him, so her salary goes to the husband. Give them lesla. Since she's not being supported by him, that we said that she doesn't have ksuba, so she doesn't have zaynas. So then he doesn't deserve the ma'isiday. And he cannot annul her nidar. Why typically does the husband have the right to be mefer her neder? Why? Because what if a woman says, I am not going to bathe, Shem Yirachem, or I'm not going to wear jewelry makeup? So the husband has the right to stop things that are going to make her be grossed, that he shouldn't be grossed out from her. So that's why he has the right to annul her neder. But over here, the more she's grossed out, the better, then he'll divorce her. Just one more line over here. Yeah, we have a little bit of time. Tomorrow doesn't look so good. It's a very long daf. And unprepared. So go slower. If she is a Yisrael, she's pasal kuna. She says the Gemara Pshita, she's a Zaina. Of course she's pasal kuna. She had relations with a man she shouldn't have been married to. Says Gemara, Bas Levi and Meiser Tzrichalei. Yeah, you're right. There's no Chiddush in Yisrael. The Chiddush is in the next sentence. The Levi. She's the daughter of a Levi, and the Levi is entitled to Meiser, the Meiser Rishon. Ubas Levi as the Gemara ben Meiser Mitzvah Biznos. Now, we learned that Meiser is really something that anybody could eat. Even Yisrael could eat Meiser. It goes to the Levi, but the Yisrael, you could give it to anybody who wants. You can make a wedding from it. So just because she's a Zaina, she doesn't get it. Says Gemara, if she was captured, we have to be choishish like Shmuel's daughter, right? Something bad happened, so she was mizana. In other words, even according to her mayor, who says that Meiser only goes to Kain and a Levi, Yisrael doesn't have access to it, but even he would admit that if she was mizana, she does get it. Omer Rav Sheishes, you're right. She should typically get it over here. Parnasah, it's just a fine that she gets because she didn't look into her husband to make sure that he's dead and she married somebody else. We're kindness her. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful evening, a wonderful week, a year of Torah and Gedusha. We'll see you tomorrow morning, Be'ez Hashem. If I'm not here, somebody can knock on my door and wake me up. Yosef will not be here. I'm telling you right now. You will? 2 shiurim, Be'ez Hashem. Wow.